Nobody can do everything well, so learn how to delegate responsibility to other winners and then hold them accountable for their decisions. To be successful in life, you must get in the habit of turning negatives into positives. Without appreciation and respect for other people, true leadership becomes ineffective, if not impossible. To succeed in business, you need somebody in your corner who cares enough to challenge you and is courageous enough to tell you the truth, especially when the pressure is on. The best entrepreneurs have found a way to serve others and as a result discover their greatest fulfillment. In your business or in your close relationships, if you want people to perform Herculean feats on your behalf, they must know that you care about them. As an entrepreneur, don't follow the crowd, let them follow you. Filling a need is not merely good business, it's a basic attitude towards life. If you see a need, do whatever you can to meet that need. You never help others by allowing them to get away with giving less than their best efforts. Forgiveness is that subtle thread that binds both love and friendship. Without forgiveness, you may not even have a child one day. I want to tell everybody that there is really a living God. I teach kids that want to be tough that their fists are not the way. Sports are sports. It's all about how we carry ourselves out of the ring. Every day, getting up early in the morning before much traffic, my wife takes me 10 miles from home, drops me off, and I have to get back. You've got to have a focus. You just fight for money, you get hurt. You focus on the title, you'll just naturally make money doing it. You got to look nice. If you got 10 kids, they'll talk about you if you don't look nice. When you speak to a lot of kids, as I've done over the years, you know what to say. Keep them laughing, good illustrations, and learn to read. When I was in the ring, you really saw the best of me. Outside the ring, I was really some terrible fellow. I just don't know how I was able to be a boxer in the first place without believing God. When you're in a single-parent home, they try to give you a good foundation, but by the time you're 4 or 5 years old, from that point on you're pretty much on your own. There shouldn't be budget problems. There is so much money that goes untapped. If every athlete gave 5% of what they earned, there wouldn't be any budget problems. I was a tiger, a good fighter, in good shape, but I was always nervous before boxing matches. I think it's so good for boxing when a new guy or new blood, as we call it, makes a big statement. All my sons are named George Foreman. They all know where they came from. You don't know what it is to be heavyweight champ of the world until you become the heavyweight champ of the world. I dread handshakes. I've got some problems with my hands, and everywhere I go, people want to impress me with their grip. To make it worse, now women are coming up with that firm shake. When I was a kid in Houston, we were so poor we couldn't afford the last 2 letters, so we called ourselves Pa. I've seen George Foreman shadow boxing and the shadow won. I tell my sons all the time, the most important thing in your life is fitness, but a lot of fighters go overboard. I got a strength coach. My wife. She gets big chains, and at night she puts them around the refrigerator. They are so strong, I can't break them. I wanted to be champ of the world, but I kept hoping something would happen to Frazier. I didn't want to fight him. Nobody wanted to fight Joe Frazier. It would be hard to throw a punch to someone who wasn't a boxer, who wasn't in the ring, and who didn't have on a pair of boxing gloves, and who hadn't been training. You don't have to try to hurt people and be angry to be an athlete. I cannot remember a time when I was not getting into fights. When I was a boxer, I wanted to be champion of the world, not the richest man in the world. I'm a winner each and every time I go into the ring. I'd have to say losing the title to Ali in '74 was the lowest moment in sports for me. It was the most devastating thing in my boxing career, and it still hurts to this day. We all think we've got one more boxing match in us, and that, probably, will be the downfall of Floyd Mayweather, George Foreman, Manny Pacquiao. We'll overstay our welcome. People are hurt in love affairs and never recover, more than a boxing match. Boxing has been the most difficult thing I've ever done. The biggest challenge in my life. I was a boxer. That was hard. Everything else is pretty easy. It's strange because your life goes so swiftly. You look up one day you're a teenager, the next day you're a grandfather, and you want to decide, I sure hope my kids don't make the same mistakes. If you can maintain that integrity in whatever you do, you can't go wrong. That's what I tell my kids, anyway. The Internal Revenue Service is the real undefeated heavyweight champion. My kids' idea of a hard life is to live in a house with only one phone. My mother was watching on television and she doesn't want me to hurt anyone. My friends know that they're my friends, even my enemies know that they're my friends. The fighters who give it all will be around for next year. Give it all you've got. Don't save anything. Preaching is the most original thing I've ever done. There's nothing familiar about it. You have to be brave. Evil lurks where disappointment lodges. If you learn to sell, it's worth more than a degree. It's worth more than the heavyweight championship of the world. It's even more important than having $1 million in the bank. Learn to sell, and you'll never starve. Heroes have a rough time because they stand up when they ought not to, they speak when they ought not to, they always have to go that extra mile. You may have even an ex-wife or an ex-husband, but you can never have ex-children. Boxing is like jazz. The better it is, the less people appreciate it. Sure, the fight was fixed. I fixed it with the right hand.